Good afternoon. Are you back?
Yes, we're back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to.
Thank you. So we are continuing from where we stopped, and this afternoon we are going to touch base into what it is to start a business in relation to writing your business plan. Talking about things that, how do you come about your business ideas, and the process that you have to go through to ensure that you have the right idea or the right opportunity for the business that you are starting. Okay. All right. The time of writing a business plan depends on the experience and knowledge of the writer, that is the entrepreneur, as well as the purpose it intends to serve. It should be comprehensive enough to give any potential investor a complete picture and understanding of the new venture. So what they're trying to tell us here, the process takes a while, it takes time, and it has to be purposely done. It has to be very clear because you're not just writing it yourself, but we assume that in writing the business plan, you are trying to help other investors or stakeholders who may be interested in your business know or understand what the business is going to be about. So in that perspective, what is a business plan? What is the purpose? Why do we have to write a business plan? Apart from what they tell us that the investors who are interested in may need to know about what it is all about. Could there be any other reasons as to why we write a business plan? Because we are going to start something new, or we are going to work on some improvement of the product or the service, and they're telling us it is important that we write a business plan. So my concern here, what is the benefit that we need to put in place a business plan? Or if you don't know the benefit, what is a business plan? Because usually we'll start with defining the concept and then we go to the definition or the purpose. So what is a business plan?
Sister, can I come in?
Sure.
Yeah, to me, a business plan, this is more like a document which entails the goal or purpose of the business and how to achieve or set objective, how to achieve these goals or plan.
Thank you, Kenneth. You're on track. Reese, because you talked of the goal, the objectives of how to achieve. Very good. Reese, what do you think?
I think a business plan is that document where the entrepreneur defines let me explain it where the entrepreneur defines the who, the why, the what, the where and when and how of the business, what he wants to achieve, when he wants to achieve it, how he wants to achieve it, and why he wants to achieve it. So for me, I find that the business plan details all those in the separate sections that it has, how you break down your goals, how you want to achieve them, who you will want to work with on the way to achieving those goals, This helps to give focus and direction to how that they will be able to get to their goals. My submission.
Well stated. I like when you started with the questions, because the questions will give you a goal on everything that you're going to do. When you are asking what, you are basically talking about the purpose. What's the purpose of doing what you are trying to do? When you are saying why, you are looking at the reasons, the goal, and you are trying to say for who, and you are trying to answer the aim of why you are doing it. Then you talked about why, how. It's like you're talking about the whole process, the operation, the activities, and everything. And that is in line with what Kenneth said. You are looking at the goals and objectives and at how you're going to achieve it. So I think that is very, very important. You need to put those questions into, because if you just go and you start up at doing, maybe you are producing, let me say you are a manufacturer of timber, furniture, let's say furniture, and you just wake up and start making chairs without knowing whom are you making the chairs for, and how are you making the chairs for, and what is the purpose of those chairs. And you go on asking, you may end up wasting money, and in between you find that whatever you have done is meeting no goal or even is ending nowhere. That's why it is very, very important to have that plan which will work as a guide. It guides you in every step that you are doing to ensure that you are focused and you are very goal-oriented. Father Vincent, please.
Yes, Doctor. To me, a business plan is a written document that describes the framework within which one is going to implement their business idea that they have thought about and generated. So it lays down the framework within which one is going to work. The framework in the sense that in there, you're going to include, as the previous people have submitted, you're going to include there, what have you thought about that you're going to do, and how are you going to do it, with which kinds of people and what resources. So it's kind of a framework that you're going to operate within so as to achieve one's goals and objectives as per their business idea.
Excellent. Excellent. Father has put it in perspective. You know very well when you're doing research, you have that conceptual framework. The conceptual framework is like a map, which summarizes everything almost that you have to do. It's like it will give you the metrics on what you are trying to do and how to do it, and it will be the metrics you're going to use to measure whether you have achieved what you intended to achieve. So I think that is well said, and it puts us into perspective to know as to why we need to write a what? A business plan. It is a document, describes the activities and how to achieve those activities in relation to your goals. Outlines how you're going to manage market, finance in relation to projections, the purposes, and everything. Even it has to show who is going to be involved in the executing of the different activities, that is the staff or the personnel or employees and their responsibilities. And even after doing all that, it will help you not only to have a guide, but it will serve as a ground on which you are going to attract other investors to invest in you if in case you need some money from the bank or from other shareholders. That's what they have to look at in order to be able to measure. So this is very important for us to know and to understand that if we are going to work on improving some products, we are coming up with new innovations, we need to have a plan. As managers, that is the basis. We have to plan and be able to come up with a better what? A better product or a good service. So what is required when you are writing a business plan? You need to have an idea, or you need to have some ideas. And those ideas really matter. You don't just have to keep them in the mind to think about them or to dream about them, because you'll end up every day saying, oh, I had thought of doing this. Oh, I think I'm going to do. This is what I had planned to do. No, it is very, very important that you write down. You start writing today what you think you can do. It can change as time goes on, as factors are changed, but it's very, very important. Write it down, because if I'm to ask, take a minute, write it down. What is it that you think you can do for your business project? Maybe you can do that. Just write whatever, go on the chat and write down what you think is something that is in your mind that you think you can work on, okay? Because in this class, there is no 2 or 3 people are going to come up with a business, with the same business idea. You have to come up with totally different ideas. And those ideas have to be actually approved or tested. You have to test them to make sure that they are not just the ideas to make money, but they are coming up into business which is sustainable. To make sure that you're not just working on a project which is just for 2 months, 3 months and end, but you are coming up to solve a problem which will never come back, or which will create more avenues to make sure that there is sustainability. So think about it. And when you're thinking about it, let's use these chances of discussion to say, okay, for me, I'm thinking of doing this. Then I come to know Kenneth is working on this, so that no other person will come to say, yeah, I'm also going to work on salads. I'm also going to work on juice. I'm also going to work on this. This is the time you need to start thinking of what you are going to do. And then we get to know whether you have really tested the idea and you realize that there is opportunity for you to get into the business and be able to make it work, okay? So the process has started, and I want you to be thinking of what is it that you think is a problem that you are going to solve, is a gap that you are going to fill, is a need that you're going to improve upon. This is a time for you to start thinking about what? Your business idea. So an idea is a spark of creativity that gives a vision to a business or a product. Is there anything that you really feel like, oh, you may be working on it, but you never had a plan written down? You are just juggling from this to the other, to this, to the other. And this is the time to add value to what you are doing, to put it in writing. And then in the end, you say, I realized I was doing this and this, but when I added all the pieces together, it has come to be a real document, which is workable for me to make this business succeed, okay? So they are telling us it is a sparkling idea, which sparkles your creativity and gives you to have that vision. You really see it through. You are very clear, and then you understand what is it that you want to do. It may be a product or it may be a service. That's where we talk about tangible or intangible in that aspect. Then when you think of the idea also, there is that aspect of the opportunity. So you may think every idea will turn into a business. Yes, the idea can come into a business and you make money out of, but is it sustainable? That's one thing. And that's where they're telling us, while an opportunity is a set of circumstances in which an idea can be turned into a successful business. So the idea is created in your mind, but the opportunity gives you a bigger chance, which can be sustainable and turned into a business, okay? So that's where you need to think differently about the idea and the opportunity and the business to see where we are going to go in this. So before you come up with an idea to say, yes, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do, there are some factors that you have to put into consideration before you start the business. You may talk, yes, you have the money, yes, you have the capacity, yes, you have the knowledge, but there could be other factors before you start your business or before you even prove that your idea is viable. So can you think of some of those things that we could really take serious attention, and we are able to analyze them clearly to be able to choose the feasible idea and start a business that is going to be successful and sustainable? What are those kind of things? Brenda. Brenda Sandra.
Sister, you will first look for a location where you are going to locate the business.
Mm-hmm. For you, that is the first thing you may think in mind, eh? Oh, it's one of, it is one of the factors.
Brenda using Nelson's gadget.
What?
I am Brenda using Nelson's gadget. We are in the same place.
Okay, please. Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I would think about is my idea going to have an available market that will sustain it in existence?
Okay.
I submit, sister.
Good, thank you. Market, and when we are talking about market, we are talking about eaters or drinkers. Yes, we have Jonathan and then Mary.
Thank you, sister. I would think about customer preferences and tastes.
Okay. Preferences and tastes in the line of the customers. Mary?
Thank you, sister. Mine is the need for the product or the services. I need to analyze the environment and find out whether people actually need this product. So I'll give an example. The business that I would like to do, to make a business plan for, is a business which has a play group for infants, children of like below 3 years and below, children who are not of school going age, and then offering babysitting services. In Kampala, people have this issue of housemaids are always leaving. There is that gap where people are always looking for help with their children. So this business would have temporary babysitters who can help them look after their children as they are finding permanent people, let's say, to stay with them at home.
Okay.
That's my.
So that is Jane. Jane is very clear. She has realized that in the market there is demand, and that's why she identified as the need for families who have babies who may not have anywhere to keep them safe. But in order to attract that market, she realized having a babysitting environment, the playground, will create opportunity for her. Thank you. We'll go further. Keep that in mind. JB.
It was Mary. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was Mary.
Yeah.
Oh, I was selling your idea. Sorry. Okay, Mary. Another one.
Yeah, mine, sister, would be the. Can I proceed?
Go ahead. This is who? JB?
Yeah, John Bosco. I would think of the coffee exportation and three things in the order that I would consider would be the market, the legal structure, whether I want to form it's a sole trader or a partnership or a company, and of course the funding is critical, the cash flow management and how I would get funds to transact.
So you're looking into trading coffee.
Yes.
And you're looking at market. You're looking
Yes,
at
market.
finance.
Yes, and Lego structure.
And the Lego structure. Keep that clear, okay, as we move further. All right. Thank you.
Sister, can I submit?
Go ahead, please.
I would also looking at the competing products vis-a-vis what I'm going to produce, and then maybe refer to what they've not done well, which I can do better.
You have an idea. You have an idea.
Sorry?
You have an idea of the area of interested in, and you relate it to competition. Because I could say, like, I see there are a lot of
let me give an example that maybe if I'm also going to, sorry, if I'm also going to maybe do juice, I would look at what may be Reham juice has not done. Look at the what it has not satisfied. Let me give a scenario that maybe for it is looking at the youth taking their juice, then me and also the
your system is breaking. But at least we got the point, okay? Basically, she's trying to tell us, in whatever you do, try to understand what is on the market. That is a competition to see how you can differentiate or penetrate that market for you able to sell your goods. Competition is the key, or the point she raised. Thank you, Jane. Do you have any other one left out?
Was not Jane. Sister, my name is Rita, not Jane.
Why did it show Jane? So that was Rita. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. One of the factors I've considered is profitability. And for my idea, I consider the exit because it's much more profitable.
So for you, you are trying to look at the profitability of the product or service, okay? Product or service. All right. The value there is money, profit is they are going to make money, then you go into that. Thank you.
Hello, sister. For me, I would think of the demand for the product.
Yes.
Like this season, I would look at preparing, selling maybe fruits, juice, water, depending on the season. Okay. There's a market now for that, for water and juice. So I would look at the demand for the product.
So the demand that is in line with the need. And when you are talking about the need, you are also talking about, because you have said like this time, the scarcity. If there is insufficient, that is also another factor which can create opportunity for you. Thank you. So basically, I think we have an understanding of some of the factors that we need to consider when we are looking at the business idea. You may have the idea, but to ensure that there is opportunity for that, we have to look at the finance. As you see, the financial resources, that is very, very important. You have to look at the environmental factor. And when you look at the environmental factor, that is when also you have to consider internal and external. What are the social factors? What are the economic factors? What are the technological factors? All those are very key. You have to consider the labor or the human aspect of it. If it means you are looking for cost reduction, how expensive or cheap it is to do the product. The location was also raised very clearly, and it is very key because that matters when it comes to the infrastructure. The policies of the government is also very key when you are looking at all those, the taxation, the pricing, the license, you name it. When it comes to the demand, that is where the need is. You need to understand in regards to their tastes and preferences to make sure that the demand may be high, but how are you prepared when it comes to supply? Are you good enough to provide enough? And if not, how are you planning to fill up the gap? Okay, competition, you understand it very clearly. Market is very key. When you're looking at the product or service, understand your target market clearly to ensure it is sustainable in relation to the share that you are going to have, in relation to the growth of the demand, in relation to their income, and so on. And then when it comes to the to the local or the social culture, that is also key, because whatever you are producing has to be in line with what is acceptable or what is preferred in relation to the beliefs, the values, or the other factors of the community. You can add on the list as far as this is concerned. But the key, you don't just wake up and start up implementing. You have to do some work. And by identifying the what, the idea, you have to make sure that there is opportunity, because they are saying that there are a lot of opportunities available in the world, but can you please mute? Everybody, please, everybody mute. Winnie, mute. All right. So there are a lot of opportunities available in the world of business, but they are not visible to everybody. They are visible only to those who constantly remain in search of them. Who constantly remain in search of them. That is very, very important. Opportunity does not come to anyone by chance, but the entrepreneur has to struggle for it. What does that mean? What does that mean? They have to constantly remain in search of them, and entrepreneurs have to struggle for it. What does that mean to us?
That you must be curious as the entrepreneur.
You must be curious as an entrepreneur. Is curious good enough?
Of course, you get knowledge of the from the industry, market research, from customers, try to understand the trends, then the read newspapers. That's kind of network. That's the general character of the entrepreneur.
Mhm. Then what you have said goes in line with when they say have to constantly remain in search of them. That's what you have answered, which is very right in whatever you have said. You have to constantly observe, listen, hear, read. All that is what they mean by to search for them. But what do they mean when they say they have to struggle for it? What does that mean? They have to struggle for it. Yes, Liz.
I think they have to struggle for it because an opportunity will not remain an opportunity forever. And while the window might be open now, you need to also, there's an element of sacrifice that comes from the entrepreneur. You need to have the resources to put in, and you should be willing to put in that moment, because it will not remain it will not remain a gap forever. I think somebody else might also see it and take up the opportunity. So it will not remain open forever. That's why you see an opportunity, you jump in it and do it. The ideas will always improve along the way. My thinking.
Thank you. Yeah, you're on track. Abba.
Yes, sister, thank you. I think it's all about hard work. You continue looking for more opportunity. Of course, you have to interact with the people who have gone beyond who have done it before. You need to expose to you need to network, expand your network. You interact with the people ahead of you, and you, of course, they give you their lesson learned where they have tried to fail, and they keep on moving, such that from their experience, of course, you can pick some lesson learned, then you build until you reach where you want. Thank you.
Thank you. That is very, very true. It's not that you are the only one, as we said, who is interested or who wants that opportunity or who wants to do or who is doing that business. So it is important to recognize the competitors who are there. It's important to recognize the resources which are available. It's important to recognize the time when it has showed up, because the preferences or the consumer behavior may also change. It's also important to recognize the unseen, the unforeseen factors, so that you are struggling always. You have always to be alert. What is happening? How best can you get to keep your business or get to tap into what you have already grabbed, so that you don't lose it? That's what they are telling you. You have to always be struggling to learn, to adapt, to change, to move, to redesign, to do everything. That's where the creativity comes in what you do, because what you did at first may not be the same thing that you have to keep on doing to constantly remain. That's where the constant research has to come in, and the constant struggle has to be there. Factors which you have to be continuously working on according to the circumstances that come up at different times. So it's like when you are dealing with the contingent theory, this comes in, the situation will dictate how you approach or how you make the decisions to make sure that there is survival for the good in the business. That's what they are trying to tell you here. So when it is a business opportunity, this can be described as an economic idea. through which the entrepreneur is making business and is earning what? Profits. So usually when we're looking at it in that perspective, there has to be earning, there has to be value. So we talked about how do you find the opportunity, and you heard Judge Bosco talking about you have to keep on searching, you have to keep on reading, you have to keep on engaging, interacting. Don't just say that you're going to sit there and the opportunity or the business idea will just come. No, you need to interact. Now you are in network of how many students in this class. How have you networked with them to know what struggles they are going through in their workplace? What needs are there in their communities? Are you aware of what is going on every day in the business or in the country? Do you understand what are the issues arising every day in the children or whatever? This is what they are telling us. If you have the idea, make sure that there is an opportunity for it, which is variable to come up with what? With the business. And these are some of the areas that you can consider when you are looking at how to explore. It could be a hobby. You have seen those who are doing agriculture. You have seen those who are doing crafts, even those who start up with restaurants. Some of those things come up because people have a hobby or interest or passion, and then they develop into a business when they tap into customers who are interested in their services or products. It could be a dream, and you have always wanted to do something, and as you want to do it, that drives you to seek the knowledge, the finance, or even the resources, and then tap into people who can help you to get that being done. It could be a need. You have identified that there is a shortage. There is a need for water, there is a need for dresses, there is a need for scholarship, there is need. And then you go into all that. So all this helps us to make sure that we are broadening our mind to think in and out of the box of things which we can look into and be able to tap into opportunities which are available. Listen to people's story. What are they saying? What is it that the government is saying? What are the changes? So please, these are the things you can use, because when even you start a business idea, it is very easy for someone to tell, how did you come up with this? It will be very absurd to say, because I needed the money. The fact you start by saying, you know, I needed the money and I realized that, no, it is important to start with the end of the customer and then you bring in money. What next? I realized that we were struggling. I could not make the ends meet and the people needed the ABCD. And that's how I came up with the idea to see it is helping to solve this and as well making some money to make my life better. Then the story becomes more meaningful because it is not just you, but it has a social responsibility to add value to the community. Then it becomes an opportunity which is more sustainable. Okay, thank you. So as you get the idea from everything said, whether you are starting up a school, whether you're starting up a worship, whether you are starting up a football club, it is very, very important to screen that idea. Very, very important. After speaking up or after identifying or after looking at it and you realize, yes, I can do it, make sure that you evaluate it. And how you evaluate it, there are different things that you need to do to ensure that you select the business or the idea that is going to make money, that is going to create demand, that is going to be sustainable, that is going to attract customers, that is going to give you fulfillment. This has to be done carefully. I'm on the last bulletin. Carefully, objectively, soberly, and without any emotions. For instance, someone said wants to come up with the students what? The children what? Playground, which will add on value to the families which are busy working, And as well, it will do some babysitting to the kids. So when you are looking at that, it is the idea she has. They are telling us it has to be objective. You have to be sober. You don't have to have any emotions. Why are those emphasized? Do you see any value? Or how could you do it objective? How could you come up with the idea without emotions? Hello? My friends, those who have not said anything. Philip. Yes, Sam.
Okay, good afternoon, sister and fellow managers.
Good afternoon.
I think to come up with an idea without emotions, I'm going to take an example looking at if you identify a business opportunity, you have to do a posterity idea in terms of analysis. What is the state of the business after a given period of time? For instance, I could take an example. I am opening up a business to do the short route transit, and maybe it's a rainy season and all my business is related to that. But now if I'm opening such an idea, it could be best because I'm feeling sorry people are moving in a very uncomfortable environment or in a state. But then after the rainy season, what happens? Meaning the business was not objectively opened up. But if I'm looking at opening up a transport business, it has to be incorporating both seasons. For instance, during the dry season, I'll be able to make long routes. I can be able to make money. But if I base it that I will be able to transport people maybe only during the rainy season, what if the season stops? What happens to that kind of business you've opened? So you have to be objective enough, not considering the emotions that you're trying to use when you're deciding on which business best suits that can be sustainable for even a long time.
Thank
I
you.
submit.
Thank you. I like it when you said, so what? And that is key. It's like, what if? That is very, very key for sustainability. Because if you don't have that in mind, you're going to be found yourself in a dead end. And you don't have. So you made it very clear it is a seasonal business. And the question, if it is a seasonal business, it is acceptable. Then when that season ends, so what? It means you are strategically planning what will continuously be able to go to sustain this business is important. And that is the objective aspect of that. Thank you. Any other thoughts? If you don't have them, I'll move on. Then I'll catch it when I'm reading the papers and we'll say, so what? All right. Okay, we are moving, but this is very, very important as you come up with your ideas. The question we ask, what, why, how, when, where, so what? Because there has to be justification on each and everything. As you have heard our friends saying it. So make sure you are not just becoming excited, and when we are advancing to the industry, you tell me, I realize that there are so many competitors and that may put my business into a problem because everybody will be selling, I may make little sales. The question is, were you very clear about what you're doing? Did you understand that there has to be clear scanning or screening of the environment? Or were you just excited because you realize that you can do it, you have the finance? So that's where it's very, very important for you to think through those. So when we talk about this opportunity, it is just a repetition. I have already discussed it, but it can be leveraged to create value and generate profit. So you have to know that The opportunity comes in when you have already the idea, and then you are going to create value and be able to generate profit. And the profit may not be just looked into in terms of money. The profit is the achievement of why the business was set to do. The goal, you have achieved your goal. If your goal was to solve the problem, to make sure the community has clean water, then that is a profit. If your goal was to make sure that those who may not be able to get education are sponsored, that is your profit. You have fully achieved what the purpose of the business is. That's why in this kind of setup, we don't only look at the business in perspective of profit making. You also have to look at non-profit organization and profit, public and private sectors. So that in all that, because they all come into business to solve problems, okay? Consider the good market. We have talked about it. Consider the demand and supply when you are looking at the opportunity. Consider the personal, when you are evaluating, evaluate yourself. It is also very, very important when you are screening your idea to ensure that you are the best person who can get that business going. Your commitment, your skills. We have talked about the market also is key. We have talked about the demand, the price and the placement. That is even when you're looking at the location. The raw materials, that is where the objectiveness comes in. And you don't only focus on excitement and passion, but the emotion also is minimized. And you balance it by looking at these other factors to make sure that your idea has a good opportunity of adding value and making profit. It has to be easy to manage, and the risk must be minimal. The capital has to be measurable so that you are not ruining yourself and you are not able even to finance the business activities once it takes off. The return or the value for investors has to be good. The growth and expansion has to be realistic so that there is room for growth, there is room for expansion, and there is room for diversification so that the risks are minimized. It has to have a comparative analysis on the goals and interests so that you are measuring up. It has to be in line with what is acceptable in the society. You know, today we are in a global warming. It is because of everything we have done in the climate, we have done in the swamps, we have done in the forest, and now we are paid off with this, regardless of our responsibility or irresponsibility. It has to have the short and the long term. When it comes to production of the value, make sure that it does not take so long for you to harvest or get the profits. It has to be measurable. The market has to be available. And when it comes to the exit, make sure you have thought it through, because there is one thing of starting your business. You have this idea of the restaurant, and when the market is not there or the people are not there to eat, now what do? We have this canteen. I'm sorry to give an example of it. We have a staff pub here at the university, but I have seen it in the last 10 years I have spent at the university struggling. This is a partition or facility which was put in place to provide extra services for those who may need to have relaxed food and everything. But for the time I've been here, there are so many different people who have come in to invest and utilize it, and they fail. And much as it would have been add value to the university to make money and to improve on the conditions of the people who are in the university, I think for one reason it has failed. And I am asking myself whether the managers understand very clearly why it has failed, regardless of the investment which was put and the vendors that would try to rent it. You see the building standing and nothing. And when it stands there for years and years, no business goes in. So there's nothing else you can do with it because the way it was set up in a kind of a cafeteria where people just come and eat. And that's when you talk about the exit. You need to know when you are setting up a business, if the time changes, how can you change it differently? That is very, very key. You realize in the COVID-19, people used to put chicken into schools. Some people use the cars and cut them and make them pick up to sell food on the road or to transport their products and everything. That is the exit aspect when you are thinking of starting a business or the idea. What can you turn it into in case things are not working? So we may not discuss this now, but it is something that you need to understand, that the business idea different from the business opportunity. Explain. It may not be different much because the idea taps into the opportunity. The opportunity is what gets into the market and brings in value. The idea comes, the opportunity comes, then you come with the idea. Then the idea has to tap into the opportunity to make sure that it has materialized into a business. The idea has opportunity, has a possibility to make money. Then the opportunity has to be researched and found capable of generating permanent income. Permanent, that is sustainable. We talk into long terms. When we're talking about business, we talk into the long term. We talk about value, we talk about profit, we talk about sustenance. That's very, very key, so that we are not just thinking of short term. It has to be short and long term, okay? So with that in mind, do you have any ideas that you think you can work on before we move on to the next part? Last part. Can we hear if you have some ideas of your business? Have you tapped into an opportunity available and that sparks your idea? Or you are still thinking? Sarah, what are you thinking about? Mr. Mtabaz. What are you doing? All right. If you are still thinking about, that is a discussion about entrepreneurship in relation to entrepreneur, and it has brought on how to write a business, but the business starts with the idea, and the idea has to come when you have realized there is opportunity. And the opportunity comes in when there is a problem, when there is a gap, when there is a scarcity, when there is a change, when there is
Excuse me, sister.
Yes, Rita.
Hello?
Yes, Rita.
Excuse me. Can you hear me?
I hear you very well.
Now, there is a scenario maybe I can give. There is a scenario that I can give where an opportunity was the first before an idea. There is a community I went to with my sister, and then when we started living in the area, we realized we didn't have any idea about creating any business yet in the area. But after reaching the area, we realized that people were suffering with phone charging. Like the area didn't have power, and if you have to get money, let me say from the bank or via mobile money, you have to take a long distance. You have to input in a lot of money to go and find where you can get such money.
or else before you get to their home, you must have withdrawn all your money. So we did have the idea of doing an agent banking business or a phone bank, or agent banking or phone charging. But we saw an opportunity in the area first, then an idea came up. That's what I wanted to submit.
I agree with you, 100%.
That in some scenarios, an opportunity, can come before an idea.
The opportunity, yes, the opportunity comes before the idea, because the opportunity is what I will refer to when you realize that there is a problem, there is a need, there is a change, there is scarcity. In other words, there is pain. You understand what I mean? In all those, there has to be pain on the side of the consumer, or the side of the beneficiary, or the side of the customer. So long as the pain is there and you are very clear, then you come up with the idea. How can you sort of resolve, address, or eliminate the pain? And by eliminating it, you come up with the idea, which turns to be the gain. And that gain is the problem solving that you do, or the creation that you come up, the innovation that you come up, or the development that you make, or whatever. But the opportunity creates the need. The opportunity creates the gain, okay? So if I'm right, that's the pain actually. You have to look into the opportunity in terms of the pain. What is suffering? What is missing? What do they need? All those kind of things. What is the demand? And then you go on the supply aspect. That's where the idea comes in and you start thinking inside. So you are right, okay? Others? All right. So with that in mind, we have been talking about entrepreneurship, entrepreneur idea. Now I want you to explore, how do entrepreneurs think in relation to what we have said? Because they look at different situations differently, and they come up with what? They come up with the approach that they use to resolve or to address the what? The problems that they face. And the approach they use, or the mechanism, or the way they look at situation is what we refer to as theories. And there are different ways of how you can look at the problem, like you realize that there was no charger, or there is no electricity. If there is no electricity, one person will say, no, we can use the torch. That is the theory. Knowing that by using a torch, it is going to help us to lead the place and be able to do what we do. Another one will say, no, we only need to set up fire, and we all sit around the fire and eat and talk until time passes, and then we go to sleep. That is the theory. That is a way how they behaved, and they thought that by lighting the, setting the fire, it will also bring us the light we need right now. Another one will say, no, why can't we just connect with the solar? If someone who has a solar, it will not cost much. So at this time, I want you to use this time. We are going to look at the different theories. How do entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship are carried on? What drives them to do the way they are doing to ensure that they are successful and they're solving the problems? There are several theories that have been developed to explain why entrepreneurs behave the way they do. And in that aspect, there has been a debate on whether entrepreneurs are born or made. So whether they are born or made, we want to see how they are influencing or influenced in the different what? In the different circumstances, based on the theologians who have come up with the different ways of trying to help us to see how entrepreneurs think, how entrepreneurs work, How do they come up with the different programs? What drives them to do that they do? So that we understand very well the approach we can take to become better entrepreneurs in the business, okay? So at this time, I'm going to set you off, whereby you are going to go into small groups. And you are going to use this time between now, I think, and I'll give you, because it goes, let me give you like maybe an hour or 45 minutes. When you get in your groups, make sure that you know who is there. Right now, I see there are 57 people. So if there are 57 people, when I divide you up to 18, how many people do we have in each group? Who has the calculator to do it well? How many are we having? Those who are not there, don't wake them up. Just go where I'm taking you and do what you do. Discuss, make sure you know who is who in your group, and get someone who is going to moderate your discussion. You are going to research. You research on that using your gadgets, which you have, and then make sure that as you discuss, you take notes. Then you'll be able to get back if time allows today. If it doesn't allow, it will be next class. And then you present what your findings is, or in relation to entrepreneurship, and then be able to get those notes on Moodle in relation to your group, okay? Is that clear?
Sister Doctor.
Yes, please. I'm listening.
What if you are seated together?
How many are you?
Where I am, we are about 6 students.
You are so many. And all the 6 have not been talking. Then they have to divide. You have to divide themselves so that you know which one you take. Okay. You get that? Hmm? Because if you are 56 and I 58, and I actually they are not 58. They are 50 because I don't count myself. About 18. Oh, the minimum could be like 4 people in each group. So those who are not here, they are going to miss this activity, but it is very, very important for your coursework, okay? So if you are seated together, make sure at least you divide your, if you are 5, or if you are 6, at least 3 should take one, and then 3 take the other, okay? Are we together? Make sure you take a snapshot of this slide if I take it off, because I'm going to stop sharing and then I get you into the groups. You have it? And the group will be the number you are getting. If you go to number 1, you are doing the psychological theory. If you go to number 2, you're doing motivation. If you go to 3, you are doing, so that is how the groups are going to be assigned, okay? All right, are you ready? I suppose you are
Excuse me,
ready.
Doctor.
Yes, please.
We have groups, we can divide ourselves, then you allocate to us different theories.
I have shown you the theories are 18. So if they are 18,
Yeah.
make sure. But I want to see that those groups, you have them, but are they all here? I don't want those groups which are not in class. This is a class activity. It starts from
Now, like
here.
our group, all of us are here on the platform.
How many are you?
We are 8. We can divide in 2 groups.
You can divide into what?
In 2 groups, then you assign to us our theories.
Well, that is very tricky. A little bit tricky. Because you already have groups which I don't know even. And it is very good to change. Change is a fact of life, okay? So let me assign you. If you find yourself, you have gone into the group, you will know how to figure it out, how to get it. But in each group, I think I'm going to see three people. And it is taking you automatically, because right now, if you say now you are there, some people will say, I have no group, I have nowhere. This is a class assignment, a class activity, okay? So that's where I'm saying some people may sign in, off, and go. So you get into the groups, and if you realize you want to change, you change accordingly, but the minimum should be at least 4, okay?
Yes, doctor.
All right. Did I give you time? I don't think I gave you time. I'm going to allow you.
So, sister, how are we approaching this? Are you assigning us new groups, or we work in our respective existing
I'm
groups?
for this assignment. This is just for this one, okay?
Yes.
For
Yes.
this one. So it can happen different assignments. You go into different groups. That's what I'm saying. You get it, okay? So one thing I have to do, I had to give you time. So that I give you how much time? 45 minutes. Okay, I've given you 50. And
Give us
I'm
an hour.
Yeah, you have an hour almost.
Give us an hour.
I give you an hour.
Yes.
So once you get there, pick someone who is going to be your moderator and a note taker, and then to prepare. If we are not able to present today, it will be the next class, but these are the groups you go to. If you are not in a group, let me know, then I'll assign you, okay? So when it hits, you join. When it shows you, just join, okay? I see Brenda Sandra has no group. I don't know why. Yeah, the maximum is 3 people. There are those who are 4, but others are just 3 people, which is okay. Okay.